for our home assignment, we're working on our end cap display, and what you're going to need for that is some reference for your interactive component. Mine is an interactive touchpad. I found something that is quite similar to what I want. I'm going to change it up, but it's got a big red button here, and the screen is like that, and things on the sides. This is made by a company that specializes in these things. They show you the things that they already make. Then you choose to have it customized. You tell them what you would like different for yours. I have my thumbnail for my countertop display, and I have to have my chosen end cap design. I have the elevation, and I have the drawing of it itself, and my exploded view. On top of that, I need photo reference for everything else. The arm and the hand. And this one I liked because it has nail polish on it. I remember I was going to go more feminine, so now I've got a really great close-up that I can use. And when I draw this, I'll have more confidence drawing it. And then I have my blender, and I'm looking at, for this, I'm looking at how to make this look rounded at the edges. And I see this beautiful highlight. You almost don't see anything in where the highlight is. See, it's blank there. So that's a key thing to notice. That thickness of glass, or not glass, but it's plastic. And then I have the sort of things that will go with my spice, my cinnamon. I've got lots of fruit and carrots and celery, so cinnamon will go well with that. I also have my type. This I sized, so I think it's going to fit. Now, I don't think I have this at the size again that you're going to be working at. I had to put something that'll fit under the document camera. But see, this I think is going to roll for me the way I want it to roll on the top here. It's going to do that for me. I think it's just about the right size. The first thing I would do for this is to take a piece of tracing paper. The same way that you did with your luggage, you do a little quick piece here to just get a feel for how big everything's going to be. And it's probably a good idea to include the whole thing in case you want to go over there and start looking at this piece too. Start here just roughly, and now I can see whether my type is going to fit, because I have to trace this right on here. This isn't big enough. I think my type is the right size. I wouldn't want it any smaller, so I've got to go a little bigger here. We're in 1-point perspective, so all of this front is facing us. I've got to make this a little thicker. And when you're on tracing paper, you can just move it around. And when you're working with a big pen, you feel a little looser, and you're not so tight and worried about it being perfect. So this will just give me an idea whether my size is okay. And then you're going to put this reference, this printout that you made of your type, you're going to put that on the back. So that fits okay for me. And my other one, it'll go down below. So this is going to fit at the top. And I'm going to have my logo. I have that red and the little house that sits up there. So I've got that. And now I can start to figure out how to do the rest. This is what you're designing against. That other line, that's a projection forward. We're not designing on that. We're designing on this part, the back part. So I hope everybody can see that this is the projection forward, and we're working on the back, not the projection. I can start to put my blender in. I've got this piece at the bottom. And this doesn't have to be very big. And I would use my ruler and my vanishing point when I do it. On my pencil detail line drawing. Okay, so now I know by my little sketch here how to draw my little figure. So you keep that. Now I'm not looking at my reference yet because I'm not on the pencil part. So it's legitimate. Now I've got to find center. You're always thinking about symmetry. And it's legitimate to not work with your pictures until you have something that you need to know. So I'm just going to start there with that. And I've got that big spice bottle up here. I'm just testing out sizes. And I would do as many of these as I needed to do in order to... Now I see already my lady's going to be in the way. This one is going to punch her in the nose with her elbow. But I can see right away that's going to be a problem. And this should go really fast. I don't know why I'm being so careful. Because you can do a million of these until you get something that you like, that feels right. That waist seems too low. And you just keep putting layers over and layers over until you get what looks good. And then I've got one hand underneath the interactive display. There. I put the shelving down about here. Okay, so here's our next shelf. And I don't need very much height on my shelf. Now see, I can't put it there because it's going to be in the way of my interactive device. So I have to put it a little lower. See, if you start right on your pencil drawing, you don't know any of these things. So better to... Okay. And then I would do a whole bunch more of these until I got the symmetry that I was looking for and everything that I wanted out of this. And I might, when I get onto my pencil detail line drawing, I would use my compass to draw this arc. Make sure the arc for the lettering, the arc for it all. So just to make sure that it looks good. And then I put my... And you let that dry a little bit because tracing paper is a funny thing. I want my figure to be here, and as long as I keep her on this line, she's going to be in the right proportion. So I just have to move her over so that she doesn't get in the way. And then I could dress her up the way she's going to be dressed up. And now you may need a whole foot for your shelving depending on how large your product is. So you would back it up a whole, even more than I did. I only went back half a foot, or 1 foot. You may need 2 feet. And then the rest of the shelving is like this. You have to put that in to show that the shelving is there. Inside each of these, you'll put what you want to say about your display, and then you're going to start writing in here. You're going to use your best architectural lettering or something like that so that you can so these are your guidelines. We set up your guidelines, so you'd put that in and you'd draw your display in. And then you'd go in and show details of the panels, what's in each of these panels. And something that pops up, you might show a picture of something that shows up. And you'd go on and on. After that, you would put your marker paper over top, and that's when you use your reference pictures. Remember when you take your marker paper out of the pad to use the back and put a check mark on the back so that you know that you're using the right side. I think I'd start with this arm. I think that's the biggest question for me to answer. She's hitting this lady in the head right now, but I have to get that right or I'm not going to be able to pull this off. So I'm looking at the shape of her arm and the length of her arm and what the elbow looks like. And I think that's too far over. So this is better after all. And then I have to figure out how I'm going to put this. So I'm going to look at how this should look. Now, probably need more reference to look at how the spout looks, because I don't think I've got that correctly. And see the hand, how the hand's going to go. So again, you work from large to small, so I'm putting in the most obvious big shapes, and then I zero in and start putting the smaller shapes in. And so for the next stage, that's what you'll be doing, is getting all of your drawing in correctly in pencil. I think I'll move her over, not have her centered after all, and put this over here. Now if I'd done more tracings, I would have resolved that. So that's why it's very important not to stop too soon with the tracing paper. I just wanted to give you an idea that every step of the way you involve your reference picture and work from there.